Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Toby and I'm here to tell you how and why I renounced my U.S. citizenship. So let's get into it. So the citizenship I chose is St. Kitts and Nevis. And so that's an island in the Caribbean. I've never actually had to go there. I've actually never been there, but it allowed me to get a citizenship within 6 months for 150,000 US dollars, and then I think it's about 15,000 with lawyer fees. And what happened was my wife did it first. She paid the 150,000. So I hopped onto her application and I paid 50,000. That included my citizenship, all the processes, and my lawyer fees as well. Okay, so let's talk about the renouncement. I could not renounce my U.S. citizenship until I got another citizenship. You have to have another citizenship before you renounce. Otherwise, you become stateless. And you don't want to do that because it makes your life incredibly difficult and you can't travel anywhere and you don't belong anywhere. Get a second citizenship before you go ahead and renounce your citizenship. So in order to renounce your U.S. citizenship, there's a couple things. You need to first pay your taxes. Number two, you need to pay $2,350 as of right now. It was way cheaper back in the day, but now the U.S. government has realized that more and more people want to do that. They don't want to lose more people, so they raise the price to $2,350. You need to have that cash. So you need to submit some paperwork, and then you also need to find a U.S. embassy outside of the United States to go ahead and do the renouncement. Now the renouncement takes 2 meetings. The first meeting is where you pretty much, they tell you, hey, this is permanent. You cannot go back on this. And also, is there anybody that's forcing you to renounce? And you have to, the meeting lasts for about 15 minutes and then you leave. And then what I had to do is I had to wait another month before my second meeting, and that meeting was the full renouncement. So what I did was I renounced in Madrid, and that was the closest place. We live in Portugal, but that was the closest place that I could renounce. My wife did it in the Bahamas, and the reason why she did that because she could have those 2 meetings back to back, like literally within she had the first meeting, she had lunch, and then came back, renounced, and that was it. So with Madrid, what they did was I went to the embassy. I spent 15 minutes. They told me what I needed to do, or the repercussions of renouncing your U.S. citizenship, and they sent me on my way after 15 minutes. So it was a long trip to Madrid and then going back to Portugal. The second trip, I had to bring the $2,350 in cash, and I signed some papers and that was it. So this is not a light decision, all right? This is very permanent. This is not something you do on a whim. This is not something that you get angry that you have to pay a lot of taxes, or you get angry at your government or whatever and you go off and renounce really quickly. This is permanent. You have to think about this for a long time before you go ahead and hop into that. No matter how much you dislike the place you live, think about it, take some time, write down some notes, the pros and cons. That's what I did. And I thought about it actually for years before I actually went ahead and did it. So a couple of the reasons why I renounced my U.S. citizenship. First off, I am the type of person who is a very active voter. I'm not lazy and just think that ticking a box is going to make a difference. And I don't worship politicians. I don't think they're going to do any good in this world. And so I'm not going to count on them. I'm not going to waste my time reading about which candidate lied the most. So with that said, I took my money and my feet and I voted with those two. And I'm like, you know what? See you later. I don't agree with anything this government's doing. As a Christian, I don't believe in organized murder. I don't want to fund the U.S. military anymore. Bombing poor brown people with oil under their feet. That's just disgusting. I don't want to take any part of it, and I felt guilty every time I paid taxes. to something like that. It just disgusts me. I've been around the world. I've been over 100 different countries in my life. I can tell you that what you see on the news in the US is a complete lie. The rest of the world is not so scary. Heidi and I travel the world all the time, and we meet really amazing people throughout the world, and nobody has the right to go ahead and bomb these people at all, especially for your freedom. If you're really thinking that the government's going to take care of you and cares about your freedom, you got another thing coming, because they lie. I don't think they've ever told the truth. Organized murder is not my thing, so if you want to support the US military, go ahead. I'm not down for that. And this is the perfect way for me to opt out of that, just have nothing to do with that place. Secondly, which is not as important as the first one, but very important to my life, is my wife and I have based our lives around cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And the US is one of the least free places, or that you can be a citizen of, in this space in a Western country. Because first of all, just try to go to Binance.com if you're an American. You can't. Americans have to have that little box that the US government has created for them, and they go Binance US. You know, and there's many other things that the US government doesn't allow you to do. For instance, we run a Patreon group, and we help people with their trades, with their with what to do with the market, you know, different coins that we're looking at. And the biggest question, the most frequent question that we are asked, literally on a daily basis, is how do I get into this coin? How do I get to this IDO? How do I get to this ICO? I'm an American. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't. Like, this is one of the punishments that you are gonna have to deal with as being American. And so that's why I want nothing to do with a place that's going to limit my ability to fully get into this space, which is the most freeing, amazing free market the world has ever seen. And no way I'm gonna let a nationality take that away from me. I'm out. So that's a huge reason for me. The number 3 reason why I renounce is because my wife and I don't plan on living there. We can visit, we are allowed to visit after you renounce, but we are not allowed to stay there for life. We need a visa when we go back and visit. So that is a huge thing. Yeah, we live overseas. I have not had a desire to go back to the United States, other than like the Bitcoin conference. That looked a lot of fun, but here we are, we're in beautiful Indonesia. I'm loving this. I'd rather be around this than, you know, cars and streets and big buildings or whatever. So some of the benefits of St. Kitts and Nevis is that you don't even need to pay taxes, income tax. You don't even need to report your taxes. And let me tell you how freeing it is to never, ever, ever have the IRS on your back. This is amazing. You have to do your taxes before you go ahead and renounce, but afterwards, you're good to go. It's amazing. Like, you don't have to ever report another trade, any bit of money that you could ever have in your bank account. You don't ever have to report that again for the rest of your lives. And that is beyond freeing. It's amazing. And you have to do this to actually understand how amazing this is. Another reason why I renounced my US citizenship is because of FACTA, laws like FACTA, FBAR, where I need to tell the US government every single time I open up a bank account with more than $10,000 in it. Like, that's crazy. I would never, ever want to deal with that. Like, just such a pain in the butt. And a lot of banks actually don't want to take US citizens because of this fact, because the headache that it takes to bring on a US citizenship isn't worth the money that these people are going to bring into the bank. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just, I'm just sick of it. Like, get rid of it. It was great. Now I can open any bank account I want. I don't have to report that to any other country in the world. Nobody cares. It's none of their business anyways. So yeah, that is a beautiful part about renouncing my US citizenship, is I don't need to worry about FBAR, FACTA, or any other stupid law that they come up with to try to regulate people's lives. So that's it. that's all I wanted to say. I know this is probably going to anger a lot of people, but I don't care, because I really don't care. If I cared so much about hurting people's feelings and making them angry, I would never be in this beautiful place right here, and not worrying about not paying taxes. So yeah, take care, guys. See you later. Stay disobedient and don't follow the sheep. Follow us instead. See you.